Sumatra, a land of smoking volcanoes, endless jungles, and creatures so bizarre, they look like they were dreamed up in a fantasy novel. But hidden in its forests and rivers are birds stranger than anything you've ever seen. Here, giant hornbills clash in midair with helmets of solid bone, while their cousins parade around with casques shaped like the horns of a rhinoceros. On the forest floor, a secretive ground-cuckoo stalks the shadows, almost never seen by human eyes. In the wetlands, rare storks with bare necks and piercing stares march like prehistoric relics, and owls with fiery eyes hunt fish beneath the moonlight. And it doesn't stop there. Bright green magpies that look like glowing jade, broadbills with oversized candy-colored beaks, and ducks so rare they seem like ghosts of the rivers. All call this island home. Each bird stranger, rarer, and more captivating than the last. In this video, you'll meet 15 of the weirdest bird species in Sumatra, from the legendary helmeted hornbill to the emerald blaze of the Sumatran green magpie. So buckle up, because the birds of Sumatra are about to change everything you thought you knew about the natural world. We begin our journey with a bird so bizarre, so unique, that it hardly seems real: the helmeted hornbill. Among all of Sumatra's avian treasures, this species stands out as one of the strangest and most legendary. At first glance, the helmeted hornbill is enormous, stretching nearly 5 feet in length with a tail that trails like ribbons behind it. Its most striking feature, however, is the solid helmet on top of its beak, a massive block of keratin known as a casque. Unlike other hornbills whose casques are mostly hollow, this one is dense and heavy, making up nearly 10% of the bird's body weight. Here's the shocker. Helmeted hornbills use these solid casques as weapons. Males stage dramatic aerial battles, flying headlong into each other, with a sound like cracking wood as they clash in midair. These duels decide territory and mates, and the sight of two giants colliding above the jungle canopy is unforgettable. Even more fascinating and tragic, the casque is so dense it has been called hornbill ivory. For centuries it has been carved and traded, leading to severe hunting pressure. Today, the helmeted hornbill is critically endangered, making every glimpse of one in the wild a rare and precious event. And here's your FOMO. Many travelers explore Sumatra's forests without realizing that above the canopy, this prehistoric-looking bird might be locked in battle. Miss the helmeted hornbill, and you've missed not just a bird, but one of nature's strangest spectacles. For bird watchers, the encounter is unforgettable. Imagine standing in the shadow of a rainforest when a deep booming call, like laughter echoing through the trees, rolls across the canopy. Moments later, two massive hornbills rush past, wings thundering, before colliding with a bone-rattling crack. It feels less like bird watching and more like witnessing a clash of living dinosaurs. So let me ask you, if you could see just one spectacle in Sumatra's skies, would you choose the delicate colors of a kingfisher or the thunderous mid-air duel of the helmeted hornbill? Comment below. From the bone-cracking battles of the helmeted hornbill, we now meet its equally spectacular cousin, the rhinoceros hornbill. If the helmeted hornbill is brutal and strange, the rhinoceros hornbill is grand and almost mythical, a bird that looks like it was sculpted for the stage of the rainforest. At first glance, this hornbill is impossible to ignore. Stretching nearly 4 feet long, it has jet black plumage, broad white tail feathers tipped in black, and a massive orange-red casque that curves like the horn of a rhinoceros. Perched high in the canopy, it looks like a guardian statue brought to life. Here's the wonder. Despite its size, the rhinoceros hornbill is surprisingly graceful in flight. Its huge wings beat with a deep, rhythmic whoosh that echoes through the forest. When it calls, its voice is amplified by the hollow casque, producing a strange, resonant honk that sounds otherworldly. Even more fascinating, this species plays out one of the rainforest's most bizarre family dramas. When a pair breeds, the female seals herself inside a tree cavity using mud and fruit pulp, leaving only a narrow slit. There she remains for months, incubating eggs and raising chicks while the male tirelessly delivers food through the slit. This unique ritual has made the rhinoceros hornbill a symbol of loyalty and partnership in Southeast Asian culture. And here's your FOMO. Many travelers to Sumatra hear the deep wing beats overhead, but never look up. To miss the Rhinoceros Hornbill is to miss one of the most dramatic and iconic figures of the Asian rainforest. For birdwatchers, the experience is pure theater. Imagine standing in a clearing when suddenly a massive shadow sweeps across the canopy. A flash of scarlet casque, a booming wing beat, and then a haunting honk that vibrates through the air. It feels less like spotting a bird and more like witnessing a mythical creature alive and well in the wild. So let me ask you, if you could choose between the Helmeted Hornbill's violent aerial duels or the Rhinoceros Hornbill's haunting calls, which would you rather see in Sumatra's skies? Comment below. From the sky-dominating hornbills, we descend to the forest floor, where one of the strangest and most mysterious birds of Sumatra lurks, the Sumatran ground-cuckoo. Rarely seen and almost mythical in its elusiveness, this bird is a true phantom of the rainforest. At first glance, the ground-cuckoo looks unusual. It is large with long legs, a long tail, and a striking green sheen across its plumage that glows like emerald in dappled light. Its dark face and curved bill give it an intense, almost prehistoric appearance, as if it had stepped out of another era. Unlike most cuckoos, it does not perch high in trees but prowls the undergrowth, moving quietly across the forest floor. Here's the wonder. For decades, many believed this species might already be extinct. It went unrecorded in the wild for more than 90 years until its rediscovery in the early 2000s. Since then, only a handful of sightings and recordings exist, making it one of the rarest birds on Earth. Its call, a deep booming boom boom boom, echoes through the forest like a distant drum, but the bird itself often remains hidden. Even more fascinating, the ground cuckoo plays a unique role in its ecosystem. By foraging on the forest floor, it preys on insects, frogs, and even small reptiles, keeping balance in an environment where survival is already a delicate dance. Yet its rarity and reliance on pristine rainforests make it especially vulnerable to deforestation. And here's your FOMO. Most people will never lay eyes on this bird. To walk Sumatra's forest without realizing a ground cuckoo, maybe just meters away, is to miss an encounter with one of the planet's strangest living mysteries. For birdwatchers, spotting one is the holy grail. Imagine trekking through dense jungle, humidity heavy in the air, when suddenly a shadow darts across the forest floor. A flash of green, a tail flick, and then silence. The forest seems to swallow it again, leaving only the echo of its booming call. In that moment, you've glimpsed something most will only ever read about. So let me ask you, if you could uncover one secret of Sumatra's jungles, would it be the roaring calls of the hornbills or the emerald phantom of the ground cuckoo? Comment below. From the emerald phantom of the forest floor, we now glide into the hidden wetlands of Sumatra, where a ghostly waterbird quietly endures, the white-winged duck. Enormous, secretive, and critically endangered, this species is one of the strangest and rarest ducks in the world. At first glance, the white-winged duck looks unusual compared to the ducks most of us know. Its body is large and heavy, cloaked in dark brown plumage that helps it vanish into the swamp's shadows. But when it takes flight, the mystery is revealed. Bold white patches on its wings flash like signals in the air, giving the bird its name. Its bright orange bill and legs add to the contrast, making it both cryptic and striking. Here's the wonder. Unlike most ducks that live in open lakes or rivers, the white-winged duck prefers deep forested swamps and slow-moving streams. It is nocturnal, foraging mostly at night for fish, insects, and plants, and by day it hides in dense cover. This reclusive lifestyle makes it one of the hardest waterfowl to see in the wild. Even more fascinating, this bird is vanishingly rare. With only a few hundred individuals believed to survive in the wild, mostly in Sumatra and parts of India and Southeast Asia, the white-winged duck has become a symbol of wetland conservation. Its survival depends on the protection of ancient swamp forests that are disappearing rapidly. And here's your FOMO. Most travelers pass by Sumatra's wetlands without realizing they're near one of the rarest ducks on Earth. Miss the white-winged duck, and you've skipped a living relic of a disappearing world. For birdwatchers, spotting one is unforgettable. Imagine paddling silently through a shadowed swamp at dawn, when suddenly a heavy splash breaks the stillness. A massive dark bird bursts from the water, flashing brilliant white across its wings before vanishing into the trees. The moment feels otherworldly, like witnessing a ghost take flight. So let me ask you, if you had to choose between the common mallards of home or this secretive giant of Sumatra's swamps, which would you rather see? Comment below. From the hidden wetlands of the white-winged duck, we now meet a bird that looks like it stepped straight out of the prehistoric past, the lesser adjutant. Towering, odd-looking, and slightly unsettling, this stork is one of the strangest figures of Sumatra's marshes and rice fields. At first glance, the lesser adjutant is hard to forget. Standing nearly 4 feet tall, it has a long, heavy bill, a bare yellow neck, and a bald pinkish head that gives it a vulture-like appearance. Its dark wings and hunched posture only add to the impression of a relic from another time. With its slow, deliberate walk, it seems less like a bird and more like a shadowy sentinel of the wetlands. Here's the wonder. Despite its awkward looks, the lesser adjutant is a skilled hunter and scavenger. It stalks through shallow water or muddy fields, using its massive bill to grab fish, frogs, snakes, and even carrion. This dual role, part predator, part scavenger, makes it one of nature's recyclers, cleaning up what others leave behind. Even more fascinating, this stork has adapted to live close to human settlements, often seen near rice paddies or fishing ponds. Yet despite its size and strange appearance, it remains surprisingly overlooked, blending into the background while silently shaping the ecosystem. And here's your FOMO. Many travelers in Sumatra notice large dark birds in the fields without realizing they are looking at one of the world's most peculiar storks. Miss the lesser adjutant, and you've skipped a bird that feels like a living fossil. For bird watchers, the thrill is in its sheer oddness. Imagine standing by a flooded rice field as dusk falls, when a tall, bare-necked bird stalks slowly through the water. Its silhouette against the fading light looks almost menacing, as if you've stumbled into a scene from the age of dinosaurs. Then, with a sudden beat of its massive wings, it rises into the sky, heavy, awkward, and unforgettable. So let me ask you, when it comes to Sumatra's weirdest birds, would you prefer the ghostly flight of the white-winged duck or the prehistoric stride of the lesser adjutant? Comment below. From the hulking prehistoric figure of the lesser adjutant, we move to another of Sumatra's rare storks, but this one is cloaked in elegance and mystery. Meet the storm's stork, a bird so scarce that even seasoned birdwatchers can spend years searching without success. At first glance, Storm's stork is striking. Tall and slender, it wears a crisp black and white suit with a gleaming white belly and dark wings edged in gloss. Its long, blood-red bill and bright orange legs provide shocking flashes of color, while its bare face gives it an oddly intense expression. Standing poised in shallow water, it looks like a statue, graceful yet somehow unsettling. Here's the wonder. Storm's stork is considered one of the rarest storks in the world. Fewer than 500 individuals are believed to survive, scattered across isolated pockets of swamp forest in Sumatra and Borneo. Its preference for dense, undisturbed wetlands makes it incredibly difficult to see. For many birders, catching even a glimpse of this species is a lifetime achievement. Even more fascinating, this stork's survival tells a bigger story. Its disappearing habitat mirrors the fate of Southeast Asia's ancient swamp forests, ecosystems vanishing under the pressure of logging and agriculture. To protect the storm's stork is to protect the last fragments of these forgotten worlds. And here's your FOMO. Travelers may glide through Sumatra's rivers without realizing that one of the rarest birds on the planet could be watching silently from the shadows. Miss the storm's stork, and you've skipped not just a bird, but a global conservation icon. For birdwatchers, the moment is unforgettable. Imagine drifting in a canoe at dawn, mist curling over the water, when suddenly a tall figure materializes among the reeds. Its red bill catches the light as it lifts its head, still and watchful. Seconds later, with heavy wing beats, it vanishes into the fog. The encounter leaves you with the eerie sense of having seen a ghost. So let me ask you, if you had to choose, would you rather meet Sumatra's stork of shadows or the hulking adjutant that feels like a dinosaur reborn? Comment below. From the ghostly rarity of storm stork, we now turn to the rivers of Sumatra, where a raptor, unlike most eagles, makes its living. The lesser fish eagle. Small, secretive, and specialized, this bird is as peculiar as it is fascinating. At first glance, the lesser fish eagle doesn't fit the image most people have of an eagle. Instead of towering size and regal posture, it is compact, with a body smaller than many hawks. Its plumage is a mix of earthy browns and grays, with piercing yellow eyes and a hooked bill that leaves no doubt of its predatory role. When perched low along a riverbank, it blends almost seamlessly with the stones and roots. Here's the wonder. While most eagles soar high above mountains or plains, the lesser fish eagle stays close to rivers and streams, specializing almost entirely in catching fish. With a sudden swoop, it plunges from a low perch, striking with talons built to snatch slippery prey. Its hunting style is more ambush than aerial dominance, making it one of the oddest eagles you'll ever encounter. Even more fascinating, this species is surprisingly rare. Found only in scattered pockets of South and Southeast Asia, it has vanished from much of its range due to habitat destruction. In Sumatra, its survival depends on pristine rivers, habitats increasingly under threat. And here's your FOMO. Many visitors to Sumatra's waterways watch for kingfishers or storks, never realizing an eagle might be lurking quietly in the branches above. Miss the lesser fish eagle, and you've skipped one of the strangest, most specialized hunters in the raptor world. For birdwatchers, the thrill is in the surprise. Imagine paddling along a jungle river when suddenly a shadow darts downward. A compact eagle slams into the water, rises with a wriggling fish, and disappears into the canopy. The whole encounter lasts seconds, but it leaves you stunned at the quiet efficiency of this unusual predator. So let me ask you, when it comes to Sumatra's rivers, would you rather see the shimmering flash of a kingfisher or the stealthy strike of the lesser fish eagle? Comment below. From the stealthy strikes of the lesser fish eagle, we stay close to Sumatra's rivers. But this time, we enter the night. Here lurks a hunter with glowing eyes and a piercing scream, the Buffy Fish Owl. Unlike the silent owls of fairy tales, this bird is loud, bold, and downright strange. At first glance, the Buffy Fish Owl looks wild and untamed. Its shaggy brown feathers give it a scruffy appearance, as though it has just battled its way through the jungle. Its most striking feature, however, are the bright yellow eyes that blaze like lanterns in the dark. Add to that its long, tousled ear tufts, and you get a bird that looks perpetually startled and a little terrifying. Here's the wonder. While most owls are silent hunters of mice and small mammals, the Buffy Fish Owl specializes in fishing. Perched on branches above rivers and ponds, it watches the water with unblinking focus. When movement stirs below, it plunges down, grabbing fish, frogs, or even crabs with its powerful talons. Instead of stealthy hoots, it lets out loud, screeching calls that echo through the night, startling for those hearing it for the first time. Even more fascinating, these owls never develop the soft fringes on their wings that most owls use for silent flight. Instead, their wing beats are noisy, their calls raucous, their presence unmistakable. They are proof that not all owls are quiet ghosts of the night. And here's your FOMO. Travelers often mistake its eerie calls for something otherworldly, never realizing they're hearing one of Sumatra's strangest predators. Miss the Buffy Fish Owl, and you've skipped a nocturnal hunter that rewrites the rules of what an owl should be. For birdwatchers, the experience is unforgettable. Imagine paddling down a river at dusk when two blazing yellow eyes suddenly fix on you from a low branch. A split second later, the owl drops toward the water, wings thrashing, before rising again with a wriggling fish clutched in its claws. It feels less like birdwatching and more like being part of a jungle myth. So let me ask you, when picturing owls, do you imagine silent wisdom or a scruffy, loud fish-hunting predator with glowing yellow eyes? Comment below. From the noisy river hunter of the night, we now turn to the deep forests of Sumatra, where another bird makes itself heard in a very different way. The white-bellied woodpecker, towering, powerful, and impossible to ignore. This giant woodpecker is the drummer of the jungle. At first glance, the white-bellied woodpecker is striking. Its glossy black body contrasts sharply with a clean white belly, a bold design that makes it look almost formal. Males wear a vivid red crown, flashing like a warning light in the canopy, while females have a subtler dark cap. At nearly 20 inches long, this is one of the largest woodpeckers in the world, and it acts the part. Here's the wonder. The white-bellied woodpecker's call is loud, but it's the drumming that truly defines it. With its chisel-like bill, it hammers into dead trees with thunderous rolls that echo for hundreds of meters. These bursts aren't random. They're a form of communication, staking out territory and attracting mates. In the stillness of the rainforest, its drumming can feel like the heartbeat of the jungle itself. Even more fascinating, this woodpecker is an ecosystem engineer. The huge cavities it chisels out become nesting sites not only for itself, but for owls, parrots, and even mammals like squirrels and bats. In this way, it shapes the very architecture of the forest. And here's your FOMO. Many travelers hike Sumatra's jungles, listening for hornbills or gibbons, but miss the deep rolling drum beats overhead. To ignore them is to miss one of the forest's most powerful and weirdly musical birds. For bird watchers, the encounter is both visual and visceral. Imagine walking through towering dipterocarp trees when the forest suddenly trembles with a booming drum roll. You look up, and a massive black bird clings to the trunk, red crest blazing, pounding the wood like a living percussionist. It feels less like watching a bird and more like attending a primal concert. So let me ask you, when you think of Sumatra's forests, do you hear only silence or the drum beats of the white-bellied woodpecker echoing through the canopy? Comment below. From the pounding drum rolls of the white-bellied woodpecker, we return to Sumatra's rivers, where a flash of sapphire blue cuts across the shadows. Meet the blue-banded kingfisher, one of the rarest and most striking kingfishers in Asia, and a jewel of the rainforest. At first glance, this bird is breathtaking. Its compact body is cloaked in deep blue plumage that gleams like polished metal, while a brilliant azure band stretches across its chest, glowing against the white underparts. Its bill is long and dagger-like, built perfectly for spearing fish, and its eyes are dark and intense, reflecting the shimmer of the river below. Here's the wonder. While many kingfishers perch openly on wires or branches near villages, the blue-banded kingfisher is secretive, sticking to fast-flowing jungle streams. It waits silently on low perches, then darts forward with lightning speed, diving into the water to snatch fish or aquatic insects. Its hunting style is precise, quiet, and ghost-like, a rare performance that few humans ever witness. Even more fascinating, this bird is vanishingly rare. Classified as endangered, its population has plummeted due to deforestation, mining, and the destruction of pristine rivers. In Sumatra, spotting one is a once-in-a-lifetime event. For many birdwatchers, it's the ultimate prize, a bird so elusive it has been nicknamed the Phantom of the Streams. And here's your FOMO. Many travelers wander the jungles of Sumatra, photographing common kingfishers, never realizing that a rarer, more dazzling relative may be watching silently from the shadows. Miss the blue-banded kingfisher, and you've missed one of the rainforest's most precious jewels. For birdwatchers, the encounter feels almost magical. Imagine crouching by a riverbank when suddenly a gleam of electric blue flashes across the water. The bird hovers for an instant, dives with a splash, and emerges with a tiny silver fish glinting in its bill before vanishing upstream. The moment is so quick, so dazzling, it feels like the forest has shown you a secret, then hidden it away again. So let me ask you, when it comes to Sumatra's rivers, would you rather witness the thunder of the fish owl or the jewel-bright dive of the blue-banded kingfisher? Comment below. From the shimmering flash of the blue-banded kingfisher, we now enter the shadowy stillness of Sumatra's deep forests, where a quieter but equally dazzling bird waits. Meet the orange-breasted Trogon, a shy, radiant beauty that seems painted with the colors of fire and gold. At first glance, the Trogon looks unreal. Its breast blazes a deep orange that glows like embers against the green gloom of the jungle. A yellow belly fades into warm hues, while its back is olive green and its wings are patterned in delicate black and white. The male wears a striking blue orbital ring around its eyes, giving it an almost jewel-like gaze. Perched motionless on a branch, it looks like a piece of living art hidden among the leaves. Here's the wonder. The orange-breasted Trogon is a master of stillness. While many birds flit constantly through the canopy, this species prefers to sit quietly, waiting for insects to pass within striking distance. With a swift dart, it snatches them from the air, then returns to its perch, perfectly calm. This behavior, combined with its brilliant colors, makes every sighting feel like stumbling upon a secret flame in the forest. Even more fascinating, this Trogon is a bird of mystery. Despite its beauty, it is surprisingly elusive, often concealed in dense understory far from human paths. Birdwatchers can spend hours scanning the jungle without success, only to be rewarded by a brief glimpse of glowing orange feathers before the bird melts back into shadow. And here's your FOMO. Many visitors to Sumatra never realize such a bird exists at all. To walk past its forest home without seeing it is to miss one of the island's most breathtaking living treasures. For birdwatchers, the encounter feels magical. Imagine trekking in silence, when suddenly a burst of orange catches your eye. The Trogon turns its head, jeweled eye ring glinting, before vanishing deeper into the forest. It's a fleeting vision, but one you'll never forget. So let me ask you, in Sumatra's jungles, would you rather chase the jewel of the rivers, the kingfisher, or stumble upon the hidden flame of the orange-breasted Trogon? Comment below. From the ember-like glow of the orange-breasted Trogon, we now meet a bird that looks like it was painted by a child with too many crayons. The banded broadbill. With its oversized bill and patchwork of colors, this bird is as bizarre as it is beautiful. At first glance, the broadbill is strikingly odd. Its bill is huge, broad, and almost cartoonish, painted in shades of turquoise and blue that seem too bright for the forest. Its plumage is equally eccentric. Deep maroon feathers banded with streaks of yellow, black, and white. The result is a bird that looks more like a surreal illustration than a living creature. Here's the wonder. The banded broadbill doesn't just look strange. It sounds strange too. Its call is a loud buzzing, yow yow yow, often compared to the hum of a giant saw or even the mechanical whir of an engine. Hearing this voice in the middle of a lush jungle is a disorienting experience, like stumbling into a soundtrack from another world. Even more fascinating, the broadbill is a skilled architect. It builds massive pendulous nests from twigs, leaves, and moss, which dangle precariously from tree branches over rivers or clearings. These nests can look like tangled bundles of debris, but inside they are carefully constructed sanctuaries for raising chicks. And here's your FOMO. Most travelers to Sumatra's forests expect to hear melodious bird songs. To pass through without noticing the mechanical buzz of the banded broadbill is to miss one of the strangest voices in the Asian rainforest. For birdwatchers, seeing one feels surreal. Imagine walking a forest trail when suddenly a flash of turquoise bill appears among the branches. Then comes a jarring call. Metallic, buzzing, alien. The bird perches for a moment, colors glowing in dappled light, before vanishing as quickly as it appeared. It feels less like watching a bird and more like spotting a glitch in nature's design. So let me ask you, in Sumatra's jungles, would you rather hear the soft silence of the Trogon or the bizarre, buzzing call of the banded broadbill? Comment below. From the surreal colors and buzzing calls of the banded broadbill, we now meet its smaller, flashier cousin, the black and yellow broadbill. With candy-bright colors and a strangely oversized bill, this bird is one of Sumatra's most eccentric little jewels. At first glance, the black and yellow broadbill looks like it belongs in a tropical cartoon. Its plumage is bold and cleanly divided. A glossy black head and wings, a bright yellow belly, and a soft pink breastband that seems almost painted on. But the feature that makes people stop and stare is its beak. Broad, stubby, and glowing turquoise blue. Against the dark face, the bill almost looks artificial, like a toy snapped onto the bird's head. Here's the wonder. Despite its comical appearance, this broadbill is an acrobat of the canopy. It flits between branches with quick, darting movements, snapping insects from the air in mid-flight. Its agility makes it both a skilled predator and a dazzling sight for anyone lucky enough to watch. Even more fascinating, its call is as peculiar as its looks. Instead of melodious whistles, it produces a series of high-pitched pew-pew-pew notes that can sound like squeaky toys echoing through the jungle. Combine that with the odd bill and bright plumage, and the black and yellow broadbill feels less like a bird and more like nature's inside joke. And here's your FOMO. Many visitors to Sumatra's forests hear strange squeaks in the canopy and dismiss them as insects. In doing so, they miss one of the most colorful and bizarre little performers of the rainforest. For birdwatchers, the encounter is pure delight. Imagine craning your neck in the dense green canopy when a flash of yellow darts into view. The bird pauses on a branch, turquoise bill glowing in a shaft of sunlight, and then, pew pew, it bounces away again. The whole scene feels whimsical, as though the jungle itself had decided to play a trick. So let me ask you, when exploring Sumatra, would you rather witness the loud, buzzing hum of the banded broadbill, or the playful squeaks and candy-colored bill of the black and yellow broadbill? Comment below. From the squeaky toy calls of the black and yellow broadbill, we now arrive at a bird that seems designed to vanish into the forest until it opens its beak. Meet the greater green leafbird, a dazzling songster whose appearance and voice are as peculiar as they are enchanting. At first glance, the leafbird looks like a piece of jungle foliage come alive. Its entire body glows with shades of emerald and lime, so perfectly matched to the leaves around it that it becomes nearly invisible when perched quietly in the canopy. A golden wash across the throat adds a touch of brilliance, while its sharp black mask and curved bill hint at the predator hidden beneath the greenery. Here's the wonder. While it looks delicate, the leafbird is an aggressive, opportunistic feeder. It darts between branches, snapping up insects, plucks fruit with ease, and even raids nectar from blossoms. Its versatility allows it to thrive where more specialized birds struggle. Even more fascinating, the greater green leafbird is a vocal trickster. It doesn't just sing, it mimics. This bird can copy the songs and calls of other species, weaving them into its own phrases to create a medley of sounds that confuses predators and astonishes birdwatchers. Imagine hearing a thrush, a barbet, and even another leafbird's call, only to realize it all came from one tiny green phantom. And here's your FOMO. Travelers may walk beneath Sumatra's canopy, hearing what they think is a chorus of many birds, never realizing they are listening to the vocal gymnastics of a single species. Miss the greater green leafbird, and you've missed one of the strangest voices of the jungle. For birdwatchers, the experience is surreal. Picture standing in the shade of towering trees when the forest suddenly erupts with a cascade of calls. You scan the canopy, expecting a flock, and then spot a single glowing green shape blending perfectly with the leaves. It sings again, flawlessly imitating another species, and in that moment you realize you've been listening to a master of disguise. So let me ask you, which amazes you more? The candy-colored clown of the broadbill or the invisible mimicry of the leafbird? Comment below. From the leafy camouflage of the greater green leafbird, we now end with a bird so surreal, so dazzling, that it feels almost too strange to be real. Meet the Sumatran green magpie, the emerald ghost of the rainforest, and one of the most extraordinary birds on Earth. At first glance, this magpie is unforgettable. Its entire body glows with an otherworldly green, as if it were sculpted from pure jade. Against this luminous plumage, its fiery red bill and legs blaze with shocking intensity, while piercing crimson eyes give it a fierce, almost supernatural expression. The effect is startling, beautiful, but also slightly intimidating, as though the forest itself had conjured a guardian spirit. Here's the wonder. Unlike many magpies, which are bold and noisy, the Sumatran green magpie is elusive. Found only in the misty montane forests of Sumatra, it skulks in dense foliage, moving with stealth as it hunts insects, frogs, and even small lizards. Its glowing green feathers aren't just for show. They act as camouflage, blending perfectly with the moss and leaves until the bird suddenly darts into view. Even more fascinating, this species is critically endangered. With habitat loss shrinking its range, every sighting feels like encountering a vanishing myth. Conservationists consider it a flagship species for Sumatra's highland forests. To save the magpie is to save the ecosystem that shelters it. And here's your FOMO. Many visitors trek through Sumatra's mountains without realizing they've walked beneath one of the rarest and most beautiful birds alive. Miss the Sumatran green magpie, and you've missed the crown jewel of the island's avian world. For birdwatchers, the encounter is breathtaking. Imagine pausing on a misty trail when suddenly a flash of glowing green bursts from the canopy. The bird lands, its red eyes locking on you for a split second before vanishing back into the shadows. The vision lingers, part dream, part warning, part miracle. So let me ask you, after all the hornbills, owls, storks, and kingfishers, does any bird rival the emerald blaze of the Sumatran green magpie? Comment below. And there you have it, 15 of the weirdest birds of Sumatra, each one stranger and more extraordinary than the last. From the bone-crashing battles of the helmeted hornbill to the haunting emerald blaze of the Sumatran green magpie, this island has shown us that its skies and forests hold secrets few places on Earth can match. We saw giants like the Rhinoceros Hornbill and the eerie lesser adjutant, ghostly rarities like the storm stork and white-winged duck, and jungle phantoms such as the Ground-Cuckoo and the nocturnal Buffy Fish Owl. We heard the jungle's own percussion in the White-bellied Woodpecker, and we marveled at jewels of color like the Blue-banded Kingfisher, orange-breasted Trogon, and the dazzling broadbills. Each bird reminded us that Sumatra is more than an island. It is a living treasure chest of the bizarre, the rare, and the irreplaceable. Protecting them means preserving a world where nature still surprises us. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these weird birds amazed you the most? Was it the hornbill's aerial duels, the owl's glowing eyes, or the emerald fire of the magpie? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Bird Videos for more strange and spectacular journeys into the wild. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.